It's a river and you have to cross the river, so you know it's an event to go from England into Scotland.
If the referendum were to foolishly vote yes, I think it would diminish Scotland, it would diminish England and it would diminish the UK.
We're standing here about 15-20 yards off the border. My village is, well, my house is 3 fields separate me at the edge of the village from the border. It's the first habitation you come to when you cross the border from England. The population is just over 200. I have a consulting business I run. A lot of my clients are down south, but I'm also chairman of 2 small engineering businesses in the borders, which between them employ about 120 people. The largest part of our customer base is south of the border. Currently we operate in a single currency area. It's alleged that we may continue to work in a single currency area. We may not. Why do we want to put that uncertainty in?
Right now we're on the edge, on the English side of the Chainbridge. It stretches across the River Tweed, and the far side is Scotland. I live in Horncliffe, which is a village less than a mile away. Most of the residents, I would say, are strictly speaking English, but that they regard themselves as borderers more than English or Scots. It means they live in this locality and they're not really determined by which side of the boundary on the tree they actually live. They live in rather sort of an extended community. If the referendum were to foolishly vote yes, it would be the biggest difficulty, because I think it would diminish Scotland, it would diminish England and it would diminish the UK. Nothing would be grown out of it, nothing would be bigger, it would all be fragmented.
A family that have been in the forces, working with people, young people from all over the United Kingdom and other parts. They work together as a team to work for this island, or this United Kingdom. So I feel it's rather hurtful for so many of them who've given up their time and some of their lives. And for what? If we as in Scotland then going to shun the communication and the dialogue we've had with our other people from the United Kingdom. The other thing I'm very concerned is about our health boards. I need a new heart and it's not available here in Scotland. I've got to wait till it comes from south of border, or do I do without? If my grandchild are ill, they cannot get the facilities, medical facilities perhaps, here in Scotland. That means that they don't get it at all?
To be clear, in terms of the issues, cross-border issues of healthcare, it won't operate that differently than it does just now. Right now, if someone lives in, let's say, the NHS borders area but accesses healthcare for whatever reason in Northumberland, there'll need to be some formal agreement, some formal payment between those health board areas. So that happens now in the context of the United Kingdom. If we're independent, these arrangements could still be put in place. And I think we also need to reflect on the fact that we're all European citizens. If we have a European health card, we can go to any other country and access their health services on the same basis as local residents. That's one of the benefits of being part of the European Union.
Well, there's a lot of people in Scotland are very pro-Scotland, and they won't look at the pros and cons simply because they don't know the pros and cons. You know, they don't know what will happen. It's like projecting into the future that we don't know what will happen, you know. And there'll be a lot of people wavering. They won't have a first idea of which way to vote because they know that the politicians are telling them lies. Every politician's telling lies. So how does anybody base their judgment on that, you know?
Scotland would, I believe, wish to be part of the European Union, and of course may well end up being part of the Schengen Agreement. And if Scotland was inside the Schengen Agreement and the rest of the United Kingdom remained outside it, there would be a legal requirement for us to check passports at the boundary.
The border doesn't seem to be a sort of very specific thing, although it is, you know, it's very concrete in the fact that it's a river and you have to cross the river, so you know it's an event to go from England into Scotland. But I think that in terms of people's attitudes or what you feel, I feel much more affinity with living here. So I feel closer to the Scots and, you know, that sort of vague, sort of chippy northern feeling. I feel closer to that than I do the south of England, you know, which is still England, and I was technically born in the same country, but you know, it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Most of the people are talking about all the changes they're going to make have already been in position to effect change, and they have never done it, and any change that they might think they can make is pure conjecture. I'm annoyed that it's been raised in an awful disparaging terms used to create needless differences that don't exist, and I don't see what is gaining anybody. Just, I think some of the politicians could cause rows in an empty house. That's about, and that's a fairly old Scottish saying. That's about what they're about to do now.